Hello and welcome to our second week on the theme of Reign of God for Awakened. In this week's Centering Scriptures, I point out two different scriptures, one where Jesus is referred to as the Son of Man, and one where he's referred to as the Son of God. And when you ask people what that means, a lot of times people will say, well, it means that he was fully human and fully divine. Son of Man, fully human, Son of God, fully divine. And that's certainly the way that the ecumenical councils of the 4th century interpreted those titles. But I don't think that's what was meant historically. Let's look first at the title Son of Man. So the Son of Man could mean that someone was human, but that phrase, Son of Man, was used synonymously with the title of Messiah. So the Hebrew word is Mashiach, and the Greek word is Christos, so Messiah and Christ. And those mean anointed one because the Messiah, the Christ, the Son of Man, was supposed to be a warrior king. An anointed one is a king. So a warrior king who would overthrow the powers that be. In Jesus' situation, that would have been the Romans, the powers that be, and reestablish a unified kingdom of Israel on this earth, which the Messiah would then rule. That was the hope. The Judeans were tired of being ruled by oppressors, by outsiders, and they wanted self-rule. And the Messiah was supposed to lead a violent revolt and make it happen. In fact, probably early on, some of Jesus' followers, when they confessed him to be the Messiah, the Son of Man, they were probably thinking that that's exactly what he was going to do. But as they listened to him teach, later on, either within his life or afterwards, they began to recognize that he was not talking about a violent revolution in which he would establish an earthly kingdom, but instead was talking about a non-violent revolution of the heart in which we made love of God and the peace that Jesus taught us tantamount to anything else. And that created the reign of God on earth. That's what it meant to confess that Jesus was the Son of Man, that he was the Messiah. And that certainly had political implications. But they didn't stop there. They also declared that Jesus was the Son of God. Now, a lot of Christians say that means that Jesus was divine, right? He was the second person of the Trinity. He's God's Son. But that is not what it meant in its historical context. So the Son of God was a title, and somebody already had that title, the Roman emperor. And if you need evidence of that, all you have to do is think about a Roman coin, one that Jesus references, where there is the head of Caesar on the coin that says Son of God. So Caesar was seen as the Son of God. And in fact, people were supposed to confess Caesar as a God, as the Son of God, the one through whom they knew God. But Jesus' followers were saying, no, it's not Caesar through whom we know God. It is Jesus through whom we know God. Jesus is the Son of God for us. Jesus is the one through whom we see truth, the one through whom we see God. And so you see, by confessing Jesus as the Messiah and the Son of God, Son of Man, Son of God, they were making political statements that put them at odds with the Roman Empire. And you can see how this kind of confession would have gotten Jesus and Jesus' followers into all sorts of trouble. They were proclaiming loyalty to the reign of God, a vision of the future in which God reigned and not any human being. They were professing that this was their desire instead of loyalty to the Roman Empire. And it is what got Jesus' followers into all kinds of trouble, and it's what got Jesus crucified. You see, the gospel is inherently political because Jesus was crucified for political reasons. The reason Romans crucified people was for insurrection. Jesus was crucified for insurrection, for proclaiming loyalty to the reign of God instead of loyalty to the Roman Empire. This section is a section in which we're talking about the reign of God and about politics and religion and the intersection between those two things. And I'm asking you to spend a little bit of time journaling as you feel comfortable. Journaling isn't for you. Maybe you can think about a conversation that you can have, or even a prayer, but maybe try to spend some time journaling and to think about the ways that you have seen politics and religion interact with one another. Think about the ways that you've seen that happen in a positive way and ways that you've seen that happen in a negative way. I can think about positive interactions between religion and politics. I think about folks like Martin Luther King Jr. or William Barber, who have called upon the ethical teachings of Jesus to make us realize our common humanity, to care for one another. And then I can think about negative ways that religion and politics have intersected. For instance, the religious right convincing people to vote against themselves so that certain people could be placed on the Supreme Court to overturn reproductive rights. So I think that there are ways that religion and politics have come together in very helpful ways, and some pretty clear examples of when religion and politics have come together in very unhelpful ways. But think for yourself. Journal about the ways that you have seen religion used in the public square and how that has made you feel. May we, though, as Christians, recognize that our faith inherently has political implications. Let's use those political implications for the betterment of society. May it be so, and amen.